I'm Marc Stevens, author of Adventures of Legal, and, of course, the website, marcstevens.net. The radio show, the No State Project, on LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network, every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time and 1 to 4 Pacific Time. And this is going to be another one of those things that we talk about regarding the success stories on the No State Project here at marcstevens.net. And it was one of the last couple of weeks have been pretty intense, pretty bad. The dishonesty. Some days it's very difficult to deal with people who are so absolutely dishonest, such as someone like Bruce Washburn. It is, but this was some good news that I had got from Lavar during the week, and so I want to first of all congratulate Lavar, and he sent me the documentary evidence. There it is. I guess it was a speeding ticket, so it's, even though it's in court, it's not a real court according to some people, but it was the county court disposition order in and for Broward County, Florida. And Lavar was the one who did this awesome Photoshop job. I did this part here, took out the last name, even though he included that. Actually, I used GIMP on this particular computer. Anyway, I want to congratulate him for standing up to the man. Now, he had sent me an email about what had happened. What's significant, too, about this, two significant points here. He said, thank you so much, Marc, for your motions. After reviewing your motion to dismiss and advising my lawyer that I have a motion to dismiss with the court, an officer, and told him what it contains, he quickly refunded my money back and told me he couldn't represent me at all because of the contents in the motion. He says, I continued to ask him questions. He continued to back himself into a corner and ultimately couldn't tell me anything without valid proof. I'm a little unclear what he meant by that, but bottom line, he presented the motion to dismiss that I have available at marcstevens.net, and the attorney gave him his money back, said that he couldn't represent him at all with such a motion. So I take that it's a blasphemy, that this, and I'm speculating completely on this, that the attorney saw that in the motion we have the audacity to, oh no, I'm questioning a prosecutor and a cop's argument. The argument being, hey, you're within the state of Florida, you're physically in Florida, we can do whatever the hell we want because the Constitution gives us jurisdiction over you, that the Constitution and laws of the state apply, and therefore they have jurisdiction. And that is a blasphemy. They do not like even the idea, the disdain that these people have when you just question their argument or their presumption that their Constitution laws apply to you just because you're physically in, let's say, here in Florida. So what Lavar tells me here, that, and this is another thing too, I guess there's three significant things. Even though the attorney, this would probably freak most people out. The attorney not only bails, he gives him the money back, says he can't represent him, bails on him. And Lavar files the motion anyway, mails a copy to the cop, and of course he filed it with the clerk of the court, and then waited. Well, the trial date came. He goes to court. It was May 5th, 2014. And from what he told me here, and I have it also quoted in the article accompanying this video, he says that to my disadvantage, the officer showed up, and then he dismissed the ticket without a second thought or look, then walks out of the courtroom like nothing happened. Lavar saying that he was laughing out loud about that, which I can definitely appreciate. So he basically had no conversation with Lavar. He just walked in, asked the judge to dismiss, and the judge does. So as you can see here, this is the documentary proof. Of course, I guess there's always a chance that this is a fake. Someone went and, but given the Photoshop ability, maybe not. We're going to presume that this is real. I guess we could always get in touch and get a real case number, or the actual case number here, and look it up and verify that this is actually from the county court in Broward County. We're going to take it at face value. And so we see here, it was dismissed. Nice. And it was signed off by the judge, or the 2219. The 2213 West Hearing Officer, BD. So That's the other, it raises a number of issues, though. Again, congratulations for not only, standing up to these predators and getting this garbage thrown out, but doing so after the attorney bailed on him. And so I know that the people may come out and say, well, you have no proof whatsoever that had anything to do with the motion. Well, let's look at this logically. To say it had nothing to do with the motion, you have to assume that that's a gross assumption. I mean, to me, that's an assumption. You're ignoring the fact that there was the motion there. What we know is the cop went out of his way to still show up instead of just blowing off the court date saying, oh, this guy, this imbecile with Marc Stevens garbage. I'm not wasting my time with these lunatics. Oh, forget this crap. I'm not even going. The judge will just throw it out, have a nice day, and I don't have to. But he took the trouble. Not only did he have the motion, which we can't ignore that the cop got. He had the motion. He goes through the trouble of going to the court and asking the judge to dismiss, which, of course, the judge does. Now, this raises another issue. If the motion truly had no merit at all, which most critics think, and a lot of judges have said that, if it didn't have merit, meaning that the police officer really did have evidence to prove jurisdiction, really did have a valid cause of action, why wouldn't the judge could have just said, wait a minute, officer, you're here, the defendant's here, I'm here, I'm denying your motion to dismiss, I'm going to deny the motion to dismiss that the Lavar filed, I'm not going to give an explanation because, hell, I'm a traffic court judge and I don't have to, and we're going to put this jackass on trial, you're going to testify for about 3-4 minutes, I'm going to find the guy guilty, and we're going to slam him with a $1,000 fine. Why wouldn't that be done? The judge could have just very well have denied the motion to dismiss and refused to deny the cop's ticket, and he could have just had his little mock court trial and found Lavar guilty and hit him with a maximum fine. Say, if you don't like it, appeal it. But that's not what happened. So to turn to looking at these issues of the cops showing up and the judge not denying the motion, it doesn't. It doesn't make it. You really, the circumstantial evidence clearly outweighs the speculation that it had nothing to do with the motion. And I think the people saying, well, it's got nothing to do with your motion, I think that's just confirmation bias. It's your own personal bias. You don't want to admit that there was any merit to the petition or to the motion. So you have to ignore the fact that the cops still showed up and move for a dismissal instead of just not blowing it off. So I believe the circumstantial evidence weighs heavily in favor that they saw the merit and just decided to drop it. Because otherwise you have to ignore the motion. It just doesn't make sense. So to the critics, which, we don't have too many, but they're usually very, very vocal. And if you believe that you have evidence proving that the Constitution laws of the state of Florida would apply to me or anybody else just because of our physical location, you're more than welcome to show up, the cop and the judge in this particular proceeding. It's here in Broward County. Show them up. Do what they can't do. Provide the evidence. We're live every Saturday right here on LRN.FM. The Liberty Radio Network, and we do not screen calls. I will set you up as a guest and give you a 3-hour broadcast in order to dazzle us with your evidence proving that these written instruments apply just because you're physically in that area. I'd be more than happy to see it, because if we go to something like the Same Old Lie World Tour, you can see that there's plenty of examples on here where they can't provide evidence. They cannot provide any evidence, like Pat Siliberto and some of these other ones. They cannot provide the evidence that the constitutional laws apply just because of your physical location. And I don't want to hear, what if you're a citizen? Citizenship presupposes that the constitutional laws apply to you based on nothing more than your physical location. So if you believe you've got the evidence to prove that if you're physically in Arizona, then the laws apply to you, please give us a call here at the No State Project. We're here, again, live every Saturday from 4 to 7 Eastern Standard Time on LRN.FM. Again, my name is Marc Stevens. The website, marcstevens.net, and we await your stunning evidence that the constitutional laws apply.